with Stemless Faceoff as my co-host, as well as our first guest, Rudy,
Yes, sir.
the Black Widow. Super glad to have you, man. Also, we have Miss Greta and Miss Nicole, two of the baddest baddies. And we are here today, man. Well, how's it going, man?
Awesome. I'm so glad y'all invited me out here. First time meeting these ladies, and obviously I know you, so.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So, where are you from, man?
I would say I'm more from Florida, but all over. My family's all in Philadelphia, but I've been running around Florida now I'm getting older now, probably pretty much my whole life.
Older, huh?
Yeah.
What is older?
Older. Mid-30s.
Mid-30s, okay, so we are ancient and he is older.
When you get over 30, I think they just start saying mid-30 or some birthdays start saying the same because I don't even like thinking about myself like that. I don't feel like that though.
That's what it's about, man. As long as you're continuously living life, you never really get old, you know? That's my mentality of it all.
I'm
Because
fooling myself.
if you're getting old, I'm kind of there, so.
If I'm getting old, you're already old.
Thanks.
You guys are real quick.
I always give him a hard time about that. That's one of my favorite things to go to with him. So it's his age, so we got to get on that.
Yeah.
But again, if you don't feel old and we're young, we stay active, and I'm gonna try and make it work for as long as I can.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So I'm gonna jump right into it as far as the fighting goes because we have a relationship as far as this is. And what made you actually get into the actual world of fighting, man? I know that you just recently had a fight. You came away with a first round knockout, but you got a huge gap in between the first couple times that you almost 10 years, right?
10 years.
Right.
Almost 10 years to like maybe about 1 or 2 months away.
You know what I mean? So like that's a big gap. I don't like a lot of people don't realize it, but fighting consumes you, and when you get into training and you get into everything else, it's kind of a consistent thing, and you continuously do it. And once you stop doing it, you almost lose it. You lose the ambition, you lose the motivation, you just lose the want to do it. So coming from a 10-year gap, and you were 2-0 to start off your career, and that's MMA as well. What happened there, man? What was the transition that made that 10-year gap pop into play?
I think I started MMA, the journey, like over 10 years ago. Just wanting to compete and I wanted to like check off something on my life, like one of those checklists. And one was getting inside a cage. Back then, I feel like 10 years ago, it was still kind of looked at a little funky or taboo. It wasn't as big as it is now. And I just wanted to do that. Checked it off, got the win, and I guess life kind of sidetracked me for a little bit. But I want to say one of the reasons why I got back into it now. It's funny, we're doing this podcast probably a lot because of you. One was getting back into the gym at RT Martial Arts over here in Jensen. Kind of gave me this something that feels like it's saving my life right now, like giving me something to focus on where I could compete again. And then jumping in the cage with you and actually fighting with you, realizing like, hey man, I still love this and I still want to try and get after this and do something with my life, and I feel like I still have time to compete and just put my last name somewhere, and I owe a lot of that to you and the people at RT. So
You don't make me emotional, man, so let's not do that.
That's a good question to pop out.
Yeah, so
awesome.
the fact that
He actually
you're
beat my ass, so the ass beating the one day made me
He
realize
learned.
like, bro, I
He
need
learned.
to get better so I can come back, and I owe him one. And I've been letting him know like I owe him one, and he's got this broken hand thing right now. So like
catch up.
It's giving him time, but ever since that time I was like, listen man, I'm gonna come back. I don't like to lose it or anything. And he gave me this urge like, man, I gotta get my shit right. I can't let that happen again. And I like the feeling. So
The one thing I could say is, so you're 35 now. I had zero combat training until I was 35. So you've got the previous times that you got a little training in now, and you've got a year on me. And the one thing that I can say, I've told you personally, your starting place is better than my starting place when I was 35. So I expect a lot out of you in the next couple years, you know what I mean? So you say that you owe me something. Well, man, I expect a lot. So if you owe me, I expect it paid in full. You know what I'm
I
saying?
expect a lot from myself, and you know that.
As you should,
I feel
man,
like
as you should.
I expect a lot from myself all the time, and I expect me to be in those situations and places. So hey, you lead the way, and I tell you all the time, we're gonna make this shit happen.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yes, sir,
You've
yes,
been
sir.
in his corner also, right?
Absolutely. So
Since
I'm
back in this shit, yeah.
I'm coach. I don't know if you guys knew this,
Oh,
but
you're his coach.
It's Coach, my brother.
Yeah,
Oh,
Coach
I
and his
didn't
brother.
know
Yeah,
that.
100%. Everybody at my gym, which is RT Martial Arts, I teach Tomahawk striking, so I'm a striking coach there.
Wow.
And over a year ago, he stepped in the door, you know, and I've been there coaching. And I told you guys in our podcast, like I wasn't really interested in the whole coaching aspect of it all because I'm very selfish with my time. But a few of these guys and everybody that's there as a base, man, really made me love coaching, you know what I mean? Because I'm able to give something that somebody else gave me at some point, you know, and it's a big deal, you know. So he owes me, and I want it all.
It's coming
The
from
good and the bad, though.
Cash in.
At the same time, with the wins we're gonna get, I'm still coming for that fight too. That extra.
It's expected.
That's funny.
We're gonna get back to the fighting side of everything, man. But you got a lot of other things, man, that I like about you and the things that you do, man. Like you're not really a one-dimensional person, and I can learn something from you in that aspect. You know what I mean? Like I'm a super focused person. When I find something, man, that's really all I got space for, to be honest with you. But you actually kind of venture out and do a few different things, man. What are a couple things that you have? I know personally, but let the people know some of the things that you ventured off into, and you've actually been successful at more than one, man. So
When I guess they would say I was like a jack of all trades. So like, but a master of none. So it's probably good when you find one thing that you're good at and you stick to it. But I kind of get sidetracked sometimes, and I just like to throw myself into all kinds of shit, just learn and have fun with it. So whatever I can get a hold of, honestly, like whatever sports, being baseball.
you come from an actual baseball
yeah.
background, like that's high school,
It
college.
was baseball, football, basketball. It was everything when I was in high school. And again, just putting myself in those situations and whatever. Honestly, whatever I try and pick up, I think I just started trying to pick up painting and photography. Just trying to get. And honestly, I've been blessed that whatever I do feel like I pick up, I kind of have like a quick knack for it. I'm a quick learner, so I can take it and go. But the bad thing is maybe sometimes lose focus along the way. But if I can get in control of that, I'm there, man, then we're off like a rocket ship.
Well, you're 35, so the
Come
time
on,
is coming.
now, we just, we're talking
The time is
middle 30s, mid 30s right now,
Mid-
lower
30s.
than 30s.
The window's almost there,
33.
man. The window.
You approached the window yet? Have you heard? Did anybody give you any advice when you got to the window?
Man, I'm learning every day. I'm learning for myself.
Yeah, you're missing that one, bro.
Well,
So
the window-
the window is where you come up to a place in your life where it's like, okay, we're here. What am I doing with myself? What's going on? Okay, I've done this, I've done that, but it's not really what it is. And you're figuring it out all over again, you know?
That's where I am right now.
Obviously.
I'm at the window, like I said. I'm like sitting at the
Welcome
window.
to the window.
I'm looking through it and I
Exactly.
see all these things that I've done. I'm like, man, what's it gonna be? And it's gonna be fighting.
You start narrowing things that you do until you find that perfect niche.
There was this little light on one in the back, and it was on the fighting and getting back in the ring, and that's where I'm at. That's the one that was shining.
It's
Awesome.
addictive,
I
right?
kind of pulled that one in there.
You love it.
I do love it.
What you love best about fighting?
The challenge, like every day getting in there, and it kind of all blanks out. You're sitting there and you don't focus on anything else, just not getting punched in the face and punching the other person in the face more than I receive it. And it's
all about the
it's
punch.
competition. It's competition. It's competition that's pure. And you can't hide that shit.
No,
Yeah,
there is no cheating.
I've got a weird analogy for it, because a lot of people, they play video games these days, right? So they're playing video games, you're coming up. If you ever got a video game, you got all excited about it or whatever, and you destroy it. You just run through it, you know what I mean? And there's no fun to it. It's like, man, all this build up to it, and it was just super easy. So like, it doesn't become fun. But the one that you play and you just keep dying. And you die and you gotta restart, and you're dying and you're restarting. That challenging is just, it's so much more. It's like, man, I died. For instance, we had sparring sessions, you know what I'm saying? And now that hunger to get back in, it's like, it's the competitive edge of it all, man. So I can
That's what
definitely.
makes life.
Yes,
That's what makes life. It's those little wins and then the losses that makes those wins so much better.
Yeah,
Hell
for
yeah.
sure.
For
It's an
sure.
addiction. It's a good addiction.
It's a good addiction.
Yeah.
Everybody
Great
has
addiction.
addictions, yeah. For sure, I think just being competitive as I can be until I can't anymore. That's the best thing.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Ladies, you guys got something for them before we
I gotta
move?
start sitting up better. Good posture.
Sorry.
I forgot.
Yeah, we worked on that
Sorry.
already.
We talked about this.
Wait a second.
So fighters, I'm blaming it on my fighting, the posture of fighting. I'm a little hunched
Oh,
over.
yeah.
We're hunched over,
Put
protecting yourself.
Put this pillow behind me. There we go. Much better.
Release break.
Um,
So you do Frenchies also? You breed them? Somebody else breeds them? What's the story behind the doggies? Animal lover?
This dog that passed away 2 years ago, or actually about 3 years ago now, I told myself I would never have dogs again. And after about like, I don't know, 6 or 7 months, I was like, man, I miss having a dog. And I buy and sell classic cars. And the last few people who came and bought cars from me bought them off of like Frenchie money. And they were like, basically like, it's big down here in South Florida. And like some people go crazy with it. But they were telling me, hey man, we breed these dogs, we make all this kind of money. And honestly, I was like, man, I love dogs. And to give me something just to, I don't know, go along the way with too. Like I said, I kind of branch out in so many things. And we'll see what happens. Honestly, I bought 2 and I love them to death, but it's a lot more work than it is anything. If I could go back in time, I might have just bought 1, but now I got 2 and it is what it is. I just got the 1 spayed and I have them for the rest of their life, but it's definitely work. It's definitely a lot of
yeah,
work.
responsibility, you know.
I don't have kids, so those are my kids.
Yeah.
And that's enough work for me right now. I'm good.
They are like kids. Frenchies
Go
are
back
like
to the-
5-year-old
They are.
kids.
Classic car thing, man. I think that's also like a niche that a lot of people aren't touching on. And you owned a garage as well, right? So
I owned an auto shop in West Palm. Again, time flies. This is years ago. I had the shop for about 2.5 years. It was in like right off of 45th Street in West Palm, off a road called Greenwood Ave. It was Rudy's garage. I actually knew like the bare minimum about cars, and I shouldn't say that, right?
no, that's amazing.
That's
because
amazing.
There's a
Have you
lesson.
seen these cars?
Yeah, but I hired a master mechanic, and I hired a guy who had been doing, these were, again, my friends at the same time, so I network and know a lot of people, and he'd been working at an auto body shop for 10 years. And like I hired him, I kind of sat back and watched him a little bit, and I learned along the way, and now I obviously, maybe it flies, maybe about 7 or 8 years ago now. But, and now here I am doing, like, restoring these cars, like, along the way, I've had a bunch of cars and took them from shit to really beautiful cars.
That says
But
a-
kind of taught myself that.
Amazing.
That says a
Picking
lot.
up
So
things and kind of learning.
you don't necessarily need to be a person who knows exactly what it is you want to do. You just got to know that you want to do it, and as you go through it, you learn it.
Have
You
a
know?
passion for
That's
it. I
it. You
love
just got to
cars.
do it. That's the first step to anything, is just doing it. If you're looking to be a fighter, you're looking to get in shape, if you're looking to learn something, man, the first step is actually just stepping into a gym, stepping into a class, stepping into the garage.
It's
And
the
a lot
hardest
of
part
and
for
a
most
lot,
people.
of people don't have that in them to do it, that uncomfortableness, that unknowing, you know. So that's a blessing, man. That's something really dope that you have, and man, I commend you on that a lot, actually. I think I've told you that.
Man,
yeah,
I'm
so.
never afraid to try this, and I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be a couple times in my life where like I pick something like that was horrible. I just can't think of them right now. Or like, hey, I shouldn't have done that, but it worked out. A lot of stuff, like even with the landscaping. I have a landscaping business right now. I sold the auto shop and was gonna venture into something else. It turned out to not really be my thing. It was actually, I went up here, went to fire school at Indian River State College and finished fire school in the fire academy, but just really isn't for me right now in my life. Pursue other things. And I ended up opening or starting a landscaping business. I'm not a landscaper by trade by any means.
But
I
it is
don't want to be
Florida.
out there, but it's Florida, it's work, and it's
Right.
honest work, and it's started it with some friends of mine, and we just chased that shit. Didn't work out the business end with the friends. It's not really always smart to do that with friends, but I still have the business. It's been almost 3 years now, and it's still going again. And but now it's getting to that point where like, hey man, it's not for me. I'm gonna sell this, and I think this fighting's for me. This
But
fighting's
that's
where I'm
good.
going.
A lot of people they start businesses, they build them really good and they sell them. Like, why not?
Fun
And you
fact,
move
I-
on.
I'm just learning. I'm learning right now. It's just teaching me everything. Like, it teaches me what I don't want to do and what real hard work is. And this fight is just it's like being a kid again. Like, I could go be a kid and fight and have fun, or I could go out here and sweat my ass off and be covered in
If you
dirt.
do fighting right, man, it really
Not
is a
for me.
business. There's a business to this, you know. And everybody thinks,
yourself.
yeah,
It's
you
business
are. So
myself.
you're your own brand. You're your own small business, and you need to treat yourself as such. But I think, regardless of what you're in, I think that everybody should be their own brand. And if you treated it like that, man, you'd get so much further in general. You know, it doesn't matter what you do. Whether you're a mechanic, you're a teacher, you're a painter. Brand yourself because you are a
It's you.
business. Yeah, 100%. And
You are you. You are your own
I
billboard.
don't think we do it enough as individuals. You know.
I'm learning that now. I think I spoke with you at the BKFC, the last event, and something that you do really well. And I'm starting to pick that up too. It's just like, man, it's staying consistent with it and branding yourself and like, hey, this is me, and just being in everybody's face, like, hey, this is me. So when I think, man, who Rudy is, this is what comes to mind. Or when I think, you know, Steve Townsend is a professional fighter, or you know, anybody, just that's what it is. Just branding yourself and making people know, hey, man, this is who I am.
It's
For sure.
Coca-Cola. You see it, you know it.
Yeah.
You
You
know
know
the
what I mean?
colors, you know
Yeah.
the
This
letters.
ain't
You
no
don't
shit.
have
I
to
know what
read
that
the
is. I don't
sign.
gotta taste that.
And
I know what
this-
that is.
This
You know,
day and age, with social media being so prevalent, and I mean, if you're a business and you're not posting and you're not doing these things, I feel like you're really behind.
Doing justice, you're doing yourself.
Yeah, so I mean, with this time frame, I think it's super important to do that, and you're definitely picking up on it, and you're moving forward for sure.
Super late to the party. Like, I feel like all these people are like so
It's
good at
fine.
things
I
already.
think
like,
that gives you an
No,
op-
you do great.
it
I'm
gives you
trying
an
to
do
opportunity.
content.
they got these apps now where you can just kind of load some pictures in and shit. But
It's like,
I feel like these people who are
That
so
is
good
good.
at making reels, and you're just like, man, you got a whole step ahead of the game already, man. Because like everything's going on the social media.
I think it's good to be able, because you're gonna learn from some other people's, like, not their mistakes, but what they did right. You know, the fact that they did something right. So now even
being late to the party.
being late to the party kind of gives you an
It gives you
idea.
a bunch of mentors.
Yes.
Fuck
Yeah.
just take what they have and just run it, pass them up, man.
This
Well, it's
is
changing.
good, Anna.
It's changing. So you take what they have and you make it better.
Make
Um,
it you.
That, I mean, it's almost like it's a business. That's a business in itself too now. You know, social media. Like, it's.
Some people just get hired for that. Just, hey, man, I just want to run your social media, like run your Instagram. That must be a nice job. You know what I'm saying?
It's a
Jeez.
lot of work.
I was gonna say it's more work
But
than
you
you
could,
think.
but you could be outside sweating in the sun.
Yeah,
getting
agreed.
raked, all
You're
in
right.
the dirt, playing in the ground.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking about doing? Rudy?
No, that's why I don't want
He
to do it. It
does.
teaches you. That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, this is not what you want to do. Go in the AC and play on your phone and get paid to do this.
I actually have my degree in horticulture because, you know, I thought
You did that before.
I thought the same thing. I'm thinking, man, you know, it's Florida. It's never going nowhere. It's big money. You know what I mean? And I don't mind working
Physical
outside.
labor.
Yeah, I don't mind that as much until you really do it.
Until you
It's like,
learn
man,
it.
is this really the option?
So
that
you
I'm
walk
taking?
out the door. I'm already sweating, and I
Yeah.
haven't at the
man.
job yet.
Yeah, like
Day after
it's
day.
7:15 in the morning and you're already like there. But yeah, man. I know that you've had that business. You've done security in the past as well. I think that's kind of like a common thing that fighters.
thing,
Yeah, do.
being bigger guy.
Yeah,
Bouncing.
being bigger.
Yeah.
I did private security. I did bouncing for a long time, but then also got to a point, even past that a little bit, where I was working with some bigger names, like rap artists or something like that, doing like private security. I got a couple friends that still do that, and they're like killing it now.
That's
So,
awesome.
That's what happens when you stick with things for a long time.
If you love it, but if you don't love it, you have to move on. No waste time.
Yeah, that's not for me. The security part of life is not for me. It's a cool job, good gig, you get to meet people, but you don't love it if you don't like waiting around for people or
You
doing
don't
this
love it,
other
you
stuff.
move on.
I'd rather do my own thing,
Yeah.
write my own story.
I don't
Not
want to
just
put
be like this guy in
myself
the
at
background.
risk. I don't
Well,
want
that's
to put
not
myself
good, yeah.
at risk for other people. I'll put myself at risk for myself all the time, for my kids, whatnot. But it's my choice.
It's
you
just
know?
some money, and at the end of the day, it's not
Yeah.
even that great of money. It's like where I could end up getting stabbed or shot or whatever for what, a couple $100 for the night?
Yeah, no.
That's all right.
No thanks.
But did the security thing, security, that was just another just another thing I went through in life, a little time in life. Good time though.
Yeah, for
Do
sure,
that
for
when
sure.
you're younger, and I'm older.
Breaks up the monogamy in life. It definitely has its ups and downs and pluses.
It added a little excitement to mine for a little while.
Yeah.
Now replace the excitement with fighting. That's where we're at.
So what is your ethnicity? What's your background?
I'm gonna say it's Czechoslovakian
Oh
and
my
Polish. So it's Czech and Polish. My last name's Levoc, so I guess it's like that CZ put together. My dad just recently did like one of those
23andMe.
I think it's 23.
Ancestry?
I think it was the Ancestry one.
Yeah.
And that came up, and he actually found out there's like a whole another part of my family that we really didn't even know about. So it's like, actually, it's a pretty cool thing.
Wow.
Technology, man.
Yeah,
It's
technology
going
these
everything.
days.
Pretty soon, you'll be able to touch your finger on the phone. It's just gonna run up everything for you.
Give me the whole list of me right here, who I am, what I'm made of. Yeah, but I would say like Eastern European, like tall, blonde, blue eyes.
So what?
What?
I think that's,
I'm trying to seem exotic right now.
Remember the branding part?
Yes.
Exotic part of it is how you're white.
Oh,
Yep. So that's what. What about you?
I'm Venezuelan.
Venezuela.
Venezuelan, German, and Italian.
German and Italian. That's a good mix. You know, I was
White.
thinking next.
She's
White.
super
You
quiet
gotta go
over here.
somewhere else, but we kind of white. You
Is it pasty
Kind
white?
It's just
country
this
white.
country white? It's like Alabama
She's
white.
a true American like her.
What's wrong with Alabama, man?
Oh, that's country white.
What are we doing here? Are you attacking me?
Is that where you're from?
No, I'm from Fort Pierce,
Oh.
Florida, man, but I did live in Alabama for about 4 years on the red.
I feel like a personal attack here.
Exactly.
Alabama.
Coming back, turn the car back. That's fun.
Let's go back to the fighting, man. I've asked you what made you want to do it, what now? Where do you see yourself in the next, let's short shot, I mean, 5 years? Like, what do you see yourself doing? Do you see yourself, just where?
Being a professional fighter. In a shorter span than 5 years, I would like to become a professional fighter within the next 12 months. Within the next 5 years, you're talking about this window's now getting a lot smaller than we were talking about for my lower end of my 30s. And
Gotta step on the gas.
so in 5 years, I would love to have a gym similar to this one, but again, more catered towards the fighting side of things. I've always been one to help, try and coach, try and get everybody else around me moving in that same direction.
You definitely have a good energy, and you definitely push that out.
Best out of everybody. Man.
Past couple years of my life, it's been more based off energy and vibes and everything else. And that's like, I'm not being spiritual or anything. It's just, it's better. If I'm constantly pushing out the good
people
vibes
around
and
you.
I'm pushing my friends and the people around me to do better, man, it's almost like it consumes everybody.
That's the way to be right there. Someone told me today, they're like, what's your nickname? Obviously, like I pushed the Black Widow thing, but they were talking about the lion. And I was like, man, I'm not like a lion. I don't think of myself as a lion. It's a wolf pack. You know what I'm saying? It's the wolves around me and everybody like that. I feel like that's going to be a lot more savage than a lion.
I love it.
But
So I
back
love
to
it.
the-
Everybody wants to be lions and tigers, you
Fuck
know?
that. Everybody together.
But
man.
you'll never see a wolf in a circus performing, you know what I'm saying?
This is
Or a
true.
wolf solo or something
No,
like
a
that.
wolf,
With
a
their
wolf's always on the hunt.
pack and they're all killers.
For sure.
Man,
Will
you
you
ain't
be
gonna
the
escape
alpha?
them.
Or will you
The
be-
alpha wolf, yeah.
There's
for
always,
sure,
I don't
for
think,
sure.
wolves are alpha in general. I know that they have the alpha wolf, the leader of the pack, but I believe that a wolf in
They're
general
all
is
alpha.
Yeah, they're all savages.
5 years having a gym, just crushing it that way. Be a professional fighter, helping others try and achieve that same dream, sticking to it at a younger age.
All right, so I know we've had these conversations, but I'm gonna bring it out for the people. Right now, you're definitely focused on your MMA. You're definitely working your jits. But bare knuckle, man, you know, bare knuckle is a different animal, and I think it suits you a lot better than you think it does.
Y'all hear that? BKFC?
And also, you know, I'm gonna put it out there too. I know come October the 27th, there's another BKFC Prospect Series show, and I know we're looking at that. But what do you think about that, man, as far as the bare knuckle goes? You see yourself getting in there, mixing it up, skin on skin, bone on bone?
I would like to. I enjoy my face the way it looks. We can make it, we can go a little bit in the opposite direction. We can mess it up a little bit, but the goal is, I think, for myself in any fight is to not get hit at all, or to minimize the amount of times that I get hit. So I would love to try and do that, but for sure, man, I know you have something like a great opportunity with that. And I can kind of, I see where you're at, man. I'm trying to get to that same direction, and that's my number one thing. Is obviously I feel like I would love hands, throwing hands, fighting with my fists, opposed to the other stuff. The other stuff I'm just kind of learning and pushing it in as much as I can, trying to mash it all together. Jiu-jitsu, the kicking, like the kickboxing. I'm trying to learn all that as much as I can.
It's a lot. So that was one of my biggest, I don't want to call it, excuse me, a deterrent, but I mean, I came from not having jiu-jitsu, wrestling in high school.
Some people wrestle 10
Yeah,
years
so
though,
when you
in
try to
high school, and I'm already
fit-
behind the ball.
Fit all that in, it's a little bit, it's a struggle.
It is. You could use like athleticism for so long, but after that, it's the hard work. Like they say, the athleticism gets you so far, but it's the motherfuckers that are working hard. That's just gonna shine at the end. The people who've been putting in 10 years are just gonna, we're not gonna say ragged on me in public, but that shit's tough. But hey, man, I'm getting there. I'm working hard. But back to the BKFC thing, I would love to. That's a professional stage that knocks off where I want to be at in the next year. It gets me to be a professional fighter, which is again just adding to my resume, so it could help me get to that future goal of having a gym in 5 years and get to knock some motherfuckers out and get paid for it. Get my face up on the screen, man, you can't get better than that. And then put your name somewhere.
And it is
my
definitely,
last name,
like I said, it's the fastest growing combat sport in the world.
For sure.
We are nowhere near where we are going to be in the next 10 years.
Super exciting.
It's super dope to be on the rise of the wave, not the actual.
Well, shit, I'm not on that wave yet, but man, toss me a board.
You are. You're
toss
there.
me a board, bro. Let me get in there. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna ride that wave.
Do you have to be an pro MMA boxer or fighter to be a bare knuckle fighter?
You do not. So the BKFC has its own way of doing things as well, and there's guys that don't have any previous fights in any combat sport. Like they don't have boxing fights. They don't. There's a couple of them, and Brian Duran. Brian Duran is one of them. Go also tried out, but he had a boxing background. So Gaio was he didn't have any fights. He went and tried out. They gave him an opportunity, and he's taken off with it.
Super athletic.
Yeah, 100. It's a drive. He found something. He found his niche. So finding your niche is super important. And once you do get a hold of it, you don't let it go. So no, you do not have to be a boxer, a kickboxer, a wrestler. The way that it's set up is that they have tryouts. And a lot of athletes can go and try out for these things. So like even though that I have an MMA background, I've got some kickboxing and stuff like that, man, my profession is a bare knuckle boxer.
Did you try out? Or
I did not try out.
So you came from BYB or something.
Right, I started with a different organization, which was bare knuckle. So I have 2 fights with the BYB.
They kind of took you on board.
And then I went and moved over to the BKFC, and I've been there ever since. So I'm 6 fights deep in the bare knuckle now.